Hey, this is Paul Cloughie of Personal Development Unplugged, where we deconstruct the complicated and make things simple. With simple processes to make change as easily and as comfortable as we can. Here's your heads up for this 5-minute quickie. As usual, it's about 15 minutes long. 5 minutes, And it's all about a conversation about business, evolution, and implementation of changes, and how that affected me is something completely different, my own private life. It's strange how lessons can be learned from anywhere at any time. Have a listen and you'll find out my personal story on this.
Warning. You are entering into the unplugged mind of Paul Cloughie. Too late. Personal Development Unplugged.
Hey, just this morning, I was sitting there with my cup of coffee. I just got up. I hadn't been awake too long. Just having me nice morning cup of coffee, getting ready for the day. And I got this phone call. And it's a phone call I get every now and again. And it's from this lovely guy, very close to me. And on his way to work, he's walking along, let's say a 20-minute walk to work. So he gives me a phone call every now and again. I think he gets a little bit bored with the walk. And so he calls me up, but he's got these new earbuds. And he wanted to tell me about them and things like that. And they were pretty good. I could hear what he was saying better than normal. But then he was saying what he was doing, and it was spurred on by he'd lost something and found it. And I thought, oh, yeah, great. He said, yeah, can I run something by you? So I said, of course you can. It's always nice for my ego when people ask me that, because I know this is about work, being a business that is unrelated to what I've been involved with. But nevertheless, I've been in business for a long time. So hopefully I've got that little bit of experience. And that's why I think he asked me about to just use me as a soundboard, I guess. But anyway, of course I say yes, it's boosting my ego. Everyone loves to give advice, don't they? It's not help, it's advice. I fall for that all the time. But I love doing this, especially for this person. And he was talking about he's been looking and charged with the reorganization of the company that he's working with. Yeah, because it was growing. And the plan for the growth, or the growth planned, was going to cause problems. Problems with the way that company was organized. So what would be their pain points now would become oh so painful, really painful. And so he was charged saying, well, what can we do about this? So amongst all the noise of the traffic and the noise of that discussion, as it were, trying to take away the bits which were just shouting, my little metaphor here is, trying to get down to the quiet where we could actually just really get to the nub of things. You see, it was if, as he explained it, he'd been thinking about this problem and is a deep thinker. He'd been thinking about this problem from that meta view, that different perspective, that high up, dissociated position, and looking at what had been happening in the past, how it got there, where they were going in the future, and how things need to be not just radically changed, but certainly evolved to take on the new challenges, but also solve the problems of the past. But not have challenges as being challenges, but make things in a way that when people were in that evolution, they enjoyed themselves. Because there's still going to be a few pain points, but when they're enjoying their work, doing the work they love, because at the moment they weren't because of all this stuff going on, all the noise, the pressures of doing things that really they, from a growing company, they just hadn't solved. He'd really thought about it from up here. But then when we started talking about the implementation of that puzzle, the implementation of the thoughts that he had of how to do it, that's when I noticed he'd gone back to like an old traditional way of thinking. In fact, the thinking that had caused the problem a little bit. So he'd got this wonderful view, he'd got all the information, but somehow he'd been in some ways pulled back, I guess, into that problem and trying to solve it from within. And we all know you can't be in the problem to solve the problem. You have to go back into it, but yet to solve it first, you have to get outside of it, see it for what it is, test and think about all the different ways that you can either mitigate, change, and all the options. I love all the options that could work, and then go back into the problem with the solutions. And you see, that's when we started to talk about the thinking in a different way. As I said, well, you've got all these people in different, you're talking about the positions they're in now and maybe new positions, but you are talking about them in the old way. These new positions, what's the function? What's the intention, the role of these new positions, these new teams? And when you understand really the role, the function, and how that's connected to the bigger picture, the overall direction of this company, the new direction that's going to be imposed upon it anyway, because it's being successful, then everyone will get it, because they know and feel the pain points now. And the thing is, I thought, whoa, I'm pleased with myself for bringing that little bit. He had all the answers. Sometimes you just need a little nudge to nudge him on the outside again. So he's gone away thinking about that. Whether he takes it up completely, who knows? It might not be the right answer, but I think it's that way. And this was all before I finished my cup of coffee and I was about to start my journaling. So I've already been doing a lot of head work, I guess. And you see, I started reading my journal. I started writing about what I was looking to the week ahead, because I haven't got that much planned. I've got a lot of things to do, but nothing really planned. And then I started to think, do you know what? I know I've got to get a few things in order. I've got to do some reorganization because of the different things that are going to be happening in my life. I don't know what they all are yet, but I've got thoughts. I've got my pain points now. And obviously, if they're not addressed, they're going to get even more painful. And then I thought to myself, and the writing came out saying, yeah, on the other hand, Cloughie, why don't you just swerve it all? Just sit back. Just go with the flow. Because there's a lot of people do, don't they? They just go with the flow. Whatever comes along, they do. They don't really have a direction they're going in. They don't have a goal. They are just, I guess, living not in the now, but maybe they are, but moment to moment, but without a plan. So suddenly something can blindside them or it's not, but it's just, I don't know how much satisfaction there is in that. Or I could actually start changing, thinking about even more. Because I thought, could I just do that? Could I really just go with the flow with no real direction, no intention, no role? And I don't know. I've got to think about that one. And then I thought to myself, whoa, I'm back in the problem. Think about this morning's conversation. What's the function, the intention of the thoughts I'm having now? And what's the function? What would I get? What would be my intention be for sitting back and not really doing anything other than what happens to me? And just trying to, just enjoying that way of being. Or what's the function? What's the intention of making life even more meaningful? Because that takes effort, doesn't it? Being meaningful, doing things that either help people, serve people, help yourself, feel good, improve, personal development, all this stuff takes effort. And sometimes if we lose sight of that intention, the function of doing it, what is our goal, that could just be really tiring. So I thought to myself, well, that's probably the best action I can take. So before taking any action, the only action I really need to take is to get outside of the issue and notice what's important to me, what do I value, and what would be a function of that value, that intention. And then, only then, should I start taking action. But the main thing I have to do is take that time out and do it. Because thinking about it, we've always talked about, having knowledge, but without action, it's meaningless. So the thing is, that's what I'm going to do. And it's all, one of the things I thought about this is so interesting to me now. It's got my curiosity. It's got my thoughtfulness side on. And it started to inspire me, even if I do choose to just sit back. I'll be inspired to do that because I'll have thought about it. But the whole point of all this is, then that's even more work to do, Paul, before you even start. But it's good work though, isn't it? So, just taking an overview of all of this, isn't it strange that lessons can be learnt from anywhere? The things that you know about, that we forget about. Getting outside the problem to solve a problem, then finding yourself back in it when you shouldn't be back in it. Not yet. Not until you're ready to implement the changes, bring in the solutions. Remembering about intentions and functions. We might think we know it all. We know that stuff. Cloughie, it's bloody common sense. Yeah, but it doesn't always happen. And the thing is, it's important to me to do that because I know it's something I need and want to do. So I wonder, what do you need? What do you want to do? Maybe there's something that you might want to reconsider. Reconsider the function of your actions. Are you just following through? Are you just going with the flow? Or is it thoughtful? Let's get curious about it. Because when you find those answers, I think you'll be really inspired to take meaningful action. And then you get the results of it. I'm looking forward to the results I get, whichever I choose. But that's my personal little thing, maybe for this week, setting it up and then carrying on. As long as I schedule it, as long as I commit to it, I know I'm going to find the right answer. Here's the thing. Just to remember something. I mentioned it on the last episode, I think, on the FMQ. Have you signed up for my emails? My emails are really about the hypnosis tracks. You don't have to listen to the hypnosis tracks, but if you want to get an email from me with this thing that I'm doing, I'm going to invite you to be maybe one of the 5 or 10 people that get free access to my Supreme Inner Confidence program or the Be Free of Your Anxiety program. But to do that, because I'm going to be sending out an email in the next week or so, and I'll let you know when that exactly is, but just to make sure, if you sign up to that program, sign up to the program of the free hypnosis. They're all in the same place. They're downloadable and it's all very, very secure. If you sign up to that, you'll have that chance because you'll receive the email which will tell you the instructions of how to put yourself forward if you want to. I can only choose 5 on each program. So it's going to be open to, but it's not just going to be the first 5 of each, but it's not going to be the last 5 either. So I'm going to work that bit out to make it fair to everyone. But if you want to be in that pool, as it were, dive in and join paulcloughonline.com/podcast. There, that's it. Do that and you'll receive something from me. Have more fun than you can stand. I hope this little episode, which is longer than a normal 5 minutes, but normal 5 minutes don't happen anymore, and got you maybe a little bit more thoughtful about what's happening in your life right now. Get curious about what's happening in your life right now. Are you getting the results that you want? And what's the reason for that? Do you need to evolve because you're changing all the time? And then get inspired to take that wonderful action to get the results you want. Learn from lessons that are in plain sight. Hiding in plain sight, some of these lessons. And it's our job, my job, to find them for you and to just send out that little bit of a thought that you can take on and take it for yourself. Evolve it. That's the integrated field of learning working. Okay, I'm off now. Have a listen to this before you go because it's important. It really is important. Bye-bye now. Before you go, my friend, I'd like to ask you a question. Did you learn something from this episode? I hope you did, because even though every episode may not be the one that really floats your boat, sets you, alight, hopefully there's a takeaway in each and every episode for you. And I'd love to know what it was. So please do email me at feedback@personaldevelopmentunplugged.com. It's a personal email to me. I'd love to know so we can carry on doing this work that will allow you to exceed your dreams. And what's the payment for this? Payment, Cloughie? What are you talking about payment? I thought it was free. Well, it's like pay it forward. And if you could pay this forward in 2 ways, or maybe 3. The first way is please share it. Share this podcast with as many people as you could. And you can. It's very easy. Just press that share button. Send it off by email to them. You'd love to. This is something you might like. I'll get that right, Paul. Something you might enjoy. And hey, if you could, a real big pay it forward to me is wherever you're getting this podcast, is it iTunes, Castbox, or Stitcher, or whichever you're getting it from, Google Play, I don't know. Would you please just leave a review? Because the review really helps people find this podcast. There's thousands out there, and I want to direct people to this podcast. And the way to do it is by reviews. So if you could do that, if you could share, you could do that. And also just make sure that you're subscribed so you get this episode and every other episode on a Wednesday and a Saturday. If you could do all of that, my little heart will sing. And if you want me to sing, well, you'll have to wait and see. Enjoy. But please do all of that. Make my heart sing. Bye-bye now.
Warning, you are now leaving the unplugged mind of Paul Clough. It's time to fly on your own. Be brave, my friend.
Personal Development Unplugged.